So I wanted to make a quick video on something I've been thinking about. I've been trying to record this video for several days now. I keep recording it and re-recording it, but I think now I have everything that I want to say, and I think the message will come out clear. But this video is in reference to the law of equilibrium, aka living in moderation, doing things in moderation. I do fully believe that peace, to obtain peace, you must be balanced. You must do things in moderation. Um, Otherwise, you tip the scales. So this is the law of equilibrium that I speak of. You don't want to tip the scales too much to one end, because we all know how a scale works, right? So something that has helped me so much in my journey is just making sure I do things in moderation, making sure that if I do too much of one thing, I counteracted with something in the polar extent, or just not polar. It's just basically doing things in moderation, living life in moderation. If you are, and some of the examples I will use is, if you are too much of a people pleaser, you have to start kind of wheeling it back into a more balanced space where you're taking care of yourself before you're compromising too much, and trying to take care of too many other people, or trying to please too many other people. You first have to kind of please yourself. And if you're too overindulging in spending, you kind of have to dial it back and make sure that you're getting the things that you need and not just everything that you want. You want to have balance. You want to do things in moderation. You can gain an excess of money, but if you start doing things in excess, just how it's coming in, it's how it's going to be leaving right back. So yeah, so it's just very simple math. Live life in moderation, and you'll always be at a balanced state. If you are if you feel your emotions are too heightened, or if you have too much, if you're giving off too much emotion, you feel overwhelmed by your emotions, you feel heavy, the scale is tipping down. Decompress by thinking logically of what you're emotionally feeling, and adding some logic to it. I think a lot of the spiritual systems and a lot of religious texts, they speak of logic as the male, divine, divine masculine, the emotions, the divine feminine, sun and the moon, your expression, your emotional comfortability, and things like that. So yeah, so if you are overwhelmed with emotions, just try to think logically of the situation and try to look at it through different perspectives, or you can just start adding logic and deducting too much heaviness of the emotion into it, right? Um, One of the things that I've used in my practice of moderation is the art of deduction and the art of compounding, or addition. It's simple math. If you think about math in its very basic form, it is just all addition and and addition and subtraction. So expansion and contraction. And if you're a mathematician and you're watching this video, or if you're a math scholar or whatever, um, and you're trying to debate that it's not all addition and subtraction. I'm not debating anyone. I'm just going by observation. Addition, multiplication is expansion. Division, subtraction is contraction, is taking away. So that's what I believe math all windows down to. Algebra is a manipulation of both, I believe, and things like that. So yeah, so that's how I kind of interpret my moderation. When I'm doing too much in excess, I use the art of deduction. I start deducting. If I'm feeling too much, if I'm thinking too much, you just stop. You reduce the amount of things that you're doing that is adding to the polarity of the axis, or whatever. So yeah, so in regards to like spending, I used to be a very heavy spender. I like nice things. I like giving nice things. Most of all, I don't spend for me. I like giving people things. I like creating an experience for people. And I noticed that I was doing that way too much for people. And when it came down to me and the things I needed and wanted, then the resources were depleted because I was giving away too much. So now, within the practice of moderation, I make sure that if I give, it's a reason behind it. It's a special occasion, and then I'm saving the resources that I'm acquiring. So there's a savings left for me to take care of me. And that's how I self care, by making sure that I'm good when it comes to my health, where when it comes to my resources, like my material, making sure my emotional needs are met, making sure I am in a clear and a stable mental space. When I'm overthinking, I like to meditate to kind of get away from the thoughts. The meditation is usually um, kind of peeling back from thoughts and feelings and just being in a space of nothingness. So I found that has helped me a lot to reduce the amount of thoughts and feelings that are running through, or just on a day-to-day basis while you're out in the world. You're kind of taking in a lot of information from other people, from things you are seeing, from things that you're perceiving. It's a constant stimulation, and every time you walk outside, because you are gaining so much information about your surroundings. Well, for me, if you're a very observative person, I'm constantly observing my surroundings. So this is a lot of information I'm trying to process and kind of decipher through, and seeing how I feel about it, and seeing how other people may perceive it and feel about it themselves. So I do get a bit overwhelmed when I am too much out in the world working, socializing, that sometimes I need to come back to my space and kind of decompress from all that stimulation. And the way that I do it is through meditation, be in a space where there's none of that, nothing, in a space of nothingness. So that is how I reduce. That's how the deduction. And then when I speak of art of adding or grounding, is just if I'm in a space of nothing, I want to start adding, when I come back in, things that are going to be beneficial to me. So I release thoughts and feelings. Now I want to kind of replenish with things that make me feel good, things that I'm learning, things that are of value to me, because I believe that the time that we spend on earth, the time that we have here, is very finite, is very limited. We only get 80, 90 years here. So how you spend your time is very important. You don't want to waste your 80 years here. You don't want to waste your 90 years here. You don't want to look back and realize that a lot of your time went to unproductive things, or overthinking, or people pleasing, or taking the short end of the sticks, or compromising your own needs. You want to look back and make sure that you had a life um, that you enjoyed, that you made the most of it, that you created a structure for yourself, you created disciplines for yourself. Just making sure that you are investing your time wisely. One of the laws of anything, entrepreneurship, investment, is that you need to be structured and disciplined for a lot of things to kind of succeed. You need to live life um, within a structure, a routine, a discipline, so you can start seeing what works for you. So you don't want to look back and see that you didn't have any structure, you didn't have anything that kind of played out for you. You want to look back and make sure that you did things of value, even if I know a lot of people equate going to school and getting degrees as value, which it is you're learning something. But you also want to make sure that you went for something that you feel fulfilled in, that you didn't waste time and then several years later you realize that that's not really what makes you feel fulfilled. That's not something that's really nurturing and feeding your existence, and it's something that you can actually give back because you love what you do, or you love what you studied, or you love what you learned. You want to make sure that you're doing things with more meaning and reasoning, with more return on investment. Not only do you get a big paycheck out of it, but you also feel spiritually fulfilled with what you're doing. I think a lot of people go into certain career fields thinking that they're going to get a return on investment, as in salaries and things, and then they end up hating what they do, and then you spent spiritual time, you spent unwisely spent time because you didn't know what it is that fulfilled you, or you didn't go for the things that actually really fed you internally. So you always want to be there as well. You want to have a combination of both. You just don't want to go for something that may not pay off in the long run, but you want to do something that also nurtures you. So just finding the balance between both, because whatever you do that you love is always going to be the best investment, no matter what, because you'll be satisfied. Satisfaction is something that is very important as well. Just like moderation, you want to be satisfied within your moderations. You don't want to kind of neglect your or put yourself in a position where you're not satisfied with what you're doing. You have to make sure it fits your lifestyle, it fits you, it's good for you. So yeah, that's basically it. I feel like I may have something more to add. I'm not sure. I'll continue to add to this as I go on. But right now, I think what I wanted to express is how to um, do things mindfully. And I guess the takeaway with this is to make sure that you are doing what you can, or doing the most that you can with your time here, making sure you're replenishing yourself, making sure you're um, giving back in a way that's good for you, that works out for you as well, making sure that you are fulfilled spiritually and physically. Your physical surroundings should be something um, that you love. You want to be in places that you love, that you can gain from. So yeah, so that's just the takeaway. Make sure that you do things in moderation so you can have a balance. Make sure you have structure. Make sure you have discipline, and make sure you're always mindful and adding value to your time here on earth, because it's not much, and once it's done, it's done. And you want to look back and be like, yes, I did something that mattered to me. I just didn't spend it worrying about other people, being a people pleaser. I didn't spend it um, unhappy. That has to be the worst feeling, to look back and realize that a chunk of your life has been spent not doing things that made you sad, or made you or weighed you down. So, if anything, take this as a wake up call to start doing more of the things that satisfy you personally. Whether it doesn't make sense to anyone else around you, make sure things make sense to you, because time is your currency. How you spend it is what you get in return. Your ROI is within what you spend time on. Your return in investment, the return of investment is where you spend your time at. So whatever you're spending doing, if you're spending time talking about people, that's what you're going to get back. Gossip and low vibrational things. If you're spending too much time overeating, overthinking, over emotional, over a lot of those excess extremes, that's the return of investment that you're always going to get back. So live mindfully, live in moderation, live in balance, or try to. It's an uphill battle. It's not perfect. I just had a very imbalanced episode not too long ago, but you gotta bring yourself back to the center path and really understand what is important for you. It's not gonna look perfect all the time, but kind of bringing the scales back to balance is is the task. We always want to be here. We don't want to do this. We want to be here. And sometimes life naturally happens, and we get and it gets a bit imbalanced, but just always remember how to get back to center. Always remember how to get back to your what grounds you. Um, Great. So that's it. I think that's my cue that I got everything that I wanted to say out. As I continue to explore things for myself, I will share and give back what I've learned, even though I know a lot of other people have spoken on moderation, discipline, structure, mindfulness, and things that I value to you. I want to speak about it from my perspective, and